All right, so having good social skills is definitely a huge portion of that kind of lifetime success that we are all hoping and striving for. And I don't mean that you've got to be the most popular kid in the high school football team here. You've just got to have good enough social skills to function and to stand out on your own as an individual and someone who is different from the garden variety, if that makes sense. Everybody has different levels of social skills and different levels of social interactions that they are comfortable with and that they can frequently visit and excel in. And so again, I'm not thinking that everybody here is going to be just the super socialite, but you do have to be able to be social to achieve a bigger level of success in life. And that is what we're here for, and that's what we're striving for. And just like with anything else, if you want to do better than everyone else, then you have to do better than everyone else. And the biggest thing that I have when it comes to advice on being more social and more impactful in a social setting is to make sure that you are being 100% genuine. And I know that sounds cliched and possibly very generic, but you really do, with a lot of this stuff, have to just get back down to basics and understand the fundamental concepts here of why things are important and how we can leverage them to succeed. I know tons of people out there who give advice on being more social, and they usually run the mill of some sort of checklist, like when you meet somebody, introduce them or introduce yourself by name, shake their hand, ask them personal questions. And oftentimes what they're doing is they're forming a kind of checklist in your brain to where, oh, every time I have a social interaction with a new person, I gotta load up my checklist. Did I ask them their name? Did I tell them my name? Did I shake their hand? Did they this? Did they this? Did they that? It's like, to a degree, not only is that not genuine, but it is also not going to really leave a lasting impression on people. Because at the end of the day, if we all are having the same interactions with the same checklists, then even the checklist people who have somewhat of a leg up against the average Joe still blend in with the crowd of everyone else doing the same checklist. And so that's why the most unique you can be is the truest version of yourself. And to be comfortable with who you are is not an easy feat. But I think that that is step one in having social confidence and social success. You have to first be able to recognize the checklists that other people are going to use against you or on you. Maybe it's not necessarily against you, but they'll use it in your presence. And that is why it is helpful to be aware of the other social techniques, to understand the other social techniques so that you can know when someone is using them on you. And you can be like, this person doesn't seem very genuine. I think that I'm going to go ahead and say no thank you to whatever it is that they're offering me. And you yourself can then leverage that in social interactions and be like, that rubbed me the wrong way. It was too obviously disingenuous. I'm going to go this way instead. And so bringing it back to really getting to know who you are and leaning into that. I am not some masterful socialite who has clean, awesome conversations every time he has a conversation. I stumble over myself quite frequently, and that is okay. Like, we are humans, and the more that we show our humanity to other people, the more comfortable they are around us, because they see how comfortable A, you are around them, and B, how comfortable you are with being yourself. And those two things those two features of being genuine to yourself can go miles in the social realm because people will immediately recognize it. And one thing that I often try and do with social interactions is I will call myself out. If I say something weird or do something that's not quite normal, I'll be like, daggum, like that was weird, or whatever. And that helps kind of alleviate the tension. And people immediately are like, wow, like this person is comfortable to be around. He does the same kind of silly stuff that I do, and he calls himself out on it. And so now I know that I'm in a comfortable environment where I can be my authentic, genuine self. And that's ultimately where you want to be with the social interactions, is you both want to be completely authentic with each other, completely genuine. You want to be able to break down as many walls as you can and make it just as comfortable as you can make it. And that is going to lead to the most successful social interactions that you can muster. And so that is why always, 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 I will always point to being the most genuine version of yourself is the first and most crucial step of becoming successful in the realm of like social interactions. And so if you can really get comfortable with who you are and what you represent and how you're going to express that in front of people, then immediately you are on the right track to having good social interactions. And then the second part of that, so we've recognized who we are, we know who we are, we're comfortable with who we are, we're comfortable being ourselves in front of other people, and now it is time to try and actually apply some techniques, if you want to call them that. I really hate using technical terms with these because I want to, again, focus on the genuine human interaction here. Anytime we're having a social interaction, we should be focusing on the genuine humanity behind it. But essentially what we're getting at here is like, just listen to what the person is saying and actually care about what they are saying. Like, if you're going to ask them a question, don't just use that as a way to get in or a way to like collect some notes or whatever. Like, actually engage in their conversation. Asking questions is huge, and like unique questions as well. And that shows people that not only are you listening, but you're processing their conversation well enough to formulate your own questions about it and to ask better questions and to inquire deeper about what they're saying. That is something that is so simple, but oftentimes overlooked. Social interactions are daunting. They are a task. And unless you're like a super social, most popular guy on the football team kind of person, like they're not going to be these awesome kinds of things. And even sometimes that popular guy that you just think excels in that realm probably might be feeling the exact same way. You've just never asked him about it. But at any rate, the conversation is a task, but it is not, again, a task that needs to be performed like writing an essay. It is a task that just involves your attention and is making sure that you're engaged with it. Engaging with something takes time and attention, and it's all these resources that are precious to us. And we all recognize that. So if somebody else is taking the time to give you their attention, then you know that they are already more genuine than that person over here who's just checking off the list and like, okay, I introduced myself, they introduced themselves, we shook hands, I asked about the family, blah, 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 blah. If they are telling you things and you're asking them questions about what they're saying and you're engaging in the conversation, then you're actually having a human interaction. And that is beyond the most important part of any social interaction, is just being human. Be your genuine self and also pay attention and care about what this person is saying. Because if you're having a conversation with them, chances are you care about what they have to say, or you care enough about what they have to say to have a conversation with them in the first place. And maybe if we're not looking to have much of a social impact on this individual, maybe then is it okay to just kind of check off your boxes and move on. There are going to be people in your life who you just don't need to have that genuine of a attachment to. And if you just need to be close enough to them to be able to check those boxes, then that's fine. We can do that. That's what we can do. But just know the difference between a conversation that means something and a conversation that is just existing to check off some boxes. And I can't say enough about how being genuine in conversation and following up with people too. Like, not only do you want to pay attention to what they have to say, but follow up with them as well. Like, if this is a person that you want to build a important social relationship with, whether that be like a romantic relationship, a friendship, or a partnership business-wise, whatever it is, if this person is going to have a significant impact on your life, then pay attention to the things that they tell you and follow up on it later on. Like, so many times with like coworkers, I'll ask what they're doing on the weekend, and that's such like a work thing to do. That's such a coworker thing to do. Like, hey man, what are you doing this weekend? And then they'll give you some throwaway answer like, oh, I'm gonna bake a pie, and then you give them your throwaway answer, and you're like, I'm gonna mow the lawn, and then you move on with your day, and you really just ask them the question for the sake of asking them the question, or alleviating yourselves from some awkward situation where you were otherwise going to say nothing. And that is honestly the foundation. It's the building blocks of being able to turn that conversation into something meaningful. And what I mean by that, what we get to with that, is if you follow up with them on Monday and you're like, hey, how did your pie turn out? Then they're like, oh snap, this person, not only did they ask me what I was doing last week or this weekend, last Friday, but they actually remembered what I said I was going to do, and then they followed up with me to see how it turned out. And that is like the spark of a actual social relationship at that point, because now they know that you're invested enough in them to actually remember these things and to follow up on them. And that goes a huge and very long way, because at the end of the day, we are all out for number one. We're all looking after ourselves, and survival of the fittest, all of those things are very true concepts. And we'd be kidding ourselves to think that there's people out there who are completely and utterly selfless. Like, there are probably people out there who are more selfless than others, and I don't doubt that there's probably somebody out there who is just incredibly the most selfless person on the planet. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say a majority of humankind and humanity are looking out for number one. And if you show them that, if only for the 20 minutes that you hold this conversation, or however long this conversation goes on for, that you value them and their thoughts and opinions just as much as you value your own, or that you've even dismissed your own pursuit of whatever to stop and have a conversation with them, that goes a long way. And again, I hate talking about these things because it makes it sound like it's some sort of social strategy, and I can't stress it enough. It has to come from a place of reality and a place of genuine care. You have to genuinely care about these conversations that you're having, and genuinely care about the conversations or about the people that you're having them with. And if you can master that genuine feeling, or not even master it, but just make it a thing, then I promise you, you will go so much further in life. And I have accomplished so very much in so little time, and I'm still out here grinding away, trying to do my best to get as much out of this life as I possibly can. My ultimate goal is to get my time back from my employer. I want to be able to flourish on this market, flourish in the independent animation scene, flourish creatively, so that I can exist only off of my own creative desires and endeavors, and not off of the will or wants of a company or a corporation. And that's not to say that I am displeased with where I am in work by any means. I'm quite satisfied with where I am, but I always have a vision of where else I can be and what I can do better. And with all of that, I can leverage my life experiences to share that with you all here, and to understand how we all can elevate ourselves to the next level. And that is the biggest goal here. It's not to give you a different checklist to check off in your brain when you're having a conversation. It is to make you more aware of the things that people connect with. And because we all connect with those things, subconsciously so, unconsciously so. We may know it, we may not know it, but at the end of the day, we all connect with these things. Unless, of course, you're having a conversation that with someone you don't want to connect with, then you're usually just trying to run through the motions and get out of that as soon as humanly possible. But assuming you're having a conversation with someone that you don't mind, or that you really like, or that you're investing in some way, shape, or form, it will be of both of your all's benefit if you can just be 100% genuine with people. And I'm not telling you to tell them your whole life story and to give them your deepest, darkest secrets. That's going into the weird and borderline creepy realm. But just remembering that we are all people and stressing on the idea that we are all people and that we are going to interact with each other as though we are people. And that's really what it all comes down to, and we have to remember that and keep that in the forefront of our minds when we're doing these social interactions. And so, like, again, step one is being genuine, and I'll probably try and put a video out for you all about like finding your genuine self, because that has honestly been one heck of a journey for me. And it's a constant thing. I'm constantly resetting my mindset. I'm constantly having to center myself and be like, okay, this is who you are. This is what you want. This is what you represent. And I'm constantly having to go about doing those things. But at the end of the day, it is a very healthy thing to be in and a very healthy way to be. And so I cannot say enough that being able to do those resets is an incredibly valuable thing, and being able to find your genuine self is incredibly valuable. I came about finding my genuine self in a very kind of natural way, and I try and come about as much as I can naturally. Like, learning is very good, but it can become disingenuous very fast. And because I just kind of happened upon figuring out how to become my authentic, genuine self and how to be comfortable with my authentic, genuine self, I haven't really figured out how to summarize that in a YouTube video form yet. Like, the social interactions, that makes sense to me. I get that and I understand it. But like, how I came about my genuine self, like, there will be a video about that later on down the road. But so for those of us who already have figured out who our genuine selves are, or know pretty well how to go about doing that for themselves, because that's another important thing to note. Like, how I went about finding my genuine self is going to be very different than how you go about doing it. Like, I can give you pointers, I can give you advice, I can tell you how I went about doing it, but it's not going to be a copy and paste, my adventure to your adventure. And there's a lot of YouTube advice on this platform, and there's tons of YouTube advice on YouTube, and none of it is going to be copy and paste. And I think we as humans are looking for the easiest way to accomplish what we want, and so we really wish that something can just be like, this is what I did, do the exact same thing, and then you do it. Repeatable processes are wonderful. And it's what the working world like revolves around. You create a repeatable process, and then boom, you have an assembly line, and now you can crank out 20 different motherboards in 5 seconds or whatever. But the more genuine things in life and the things that are more rewarding that people are out there fighting for and striving for are almost never the kinds of things that you can acquire just from doing a repeatable process. But understanding other people's processes can get you ahead on coming up with your own. And I say all that to come back around to the social interactions, finding your genuine self. I can't say that enough. You should really start your journey of personal growth and success there. Find your genuine self, figure out what you can do to be a genuine version of you, and then expand from there. And as you expand, you're going to look at your social interactions, because we all cannot succeed in a siloed environment. Like, the bigger your community is, the better your chances of success are. And I cannot say that enough. The bigger your community is, the better your chances of success are. And so at the end of the day, you found yourself, your genuine self, and you're comfortable with who you are. And now it's time to start expanding that concept and start bringing other people into your community and building a community that will take you where you want to go, and you take them where they want to go as well. Once again, we're all looking out for number one, but the more things we can do to elevate the people in our community and the people we care about, the more enticed they will be to elevate you as well. And then we all succeed together as one. And so we find our authentic, genuine self, and then we're going to focus and really narrow down on the points that I brought out today with our social interactions and how we just need to continue to be genuine to ourselves and genuine to other people. Remember that your human interactions with people that you're investing in just need to be genuine, and call yourself out on the silly faux pas that you do if you mess up or say something silly. Like, your life isn't going to end because you said something dumb to this person that you're trying to romance, or you said something dumb to your new business partner, and you said something dumb to whatever. And the fact that you can laugh it off makes them more comfortable around you. Because if you make it this awkward, weird thing, then they're going to feel awkward and weird when they have a faux pas in front of you, which is liable to happen. And so just being comfortable with yourself, being able to laugh at yourself, and then remembering to actually care about the conversations that you're having. If you're going to ask someone what they're doing over the weekend, remember to follow up with them on what they did over the weekend. And if you're going to talk to someone about their kids and family or whatever, remember to occasionally bring them up. And if you find something that that person is passionate about and they start diving into their passions and why they love this thing, ask important questions. Show them that you're engaged in the conversation by asking questions that only you as an individual can come up with. And that will go miles and immediately show these people that you care about what they have to say. And if you take nothing else away from this video, I just please, 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 please remember to be genuine. Stay away from any person on the internet who is telling you to check off your little checkbox of, oh, I asked them A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, and so I should receive A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z from them. That is a very, very dangerous way to go about your social interactions. It is disingenuous, and if you run into somebody else who has that checkbox in their head, they know exactly what you're doing, and then boom, you've been exposed. And so please, again, just be genuine. Go out there, be real with people, and you'll be amazed at how much of an impact that has on your social interactions. Per the usual, I would love it if you would go watch Compression Man. That's my indie animation out there that I'm super proud of, really trying to pump that out in the world these days. I've written several works of fiction that I am also very proud of. I've got music and I've got tons of videos on this channel. So stick around, find something you love, and I'll catch you on the next one.